Right now at 5, authorities in Joplin surround a house in the Royal Heights neighborhood.
Plus, we've got ourselves a fairly decent day yet again, and it's almost a carbon copy of yesterday in terms of our shower chances. We'll talk about that forecast coming up.
Also, authorities in Anderson, Missouri respond to a burglary and find a nude man instead.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Amber Jenkins.
I'm Chris Warner. So it's another decent start out there. A little muggier this morning. So
muggy.
We've talked about this before, and folks here in the 4 states, you know, there's and even back where you're from, there's a difference between a warm 60 degrees and a cool 60 degrees. And today it's that warm 60 degrees out there, as it is again a bit on the muggy side. We've got some scattered showers on the Skywatch storm trackers you can see in our northern counties. And these are going to start to die out as the morning progresses. However, one thing we're keeping an eye on, and we're going to see how this pans out, is this batch of activity. Now, these were strong to severe thunderstorms across parts of southwestern Nebraska and northwestern Kansas last night. You can see they're dying out. However, watch right here. Do you see that brief outflow boundary that showed up? That triggered some additional development ahead of this. It's not doing very well, but it did trigger some additional development. So we'll see kind of what role that plays in our forecast through the morning. If anything, similar to yesterday's activity in Oklahoma, it'll be the catalyst for some additional scattered storm development as we head into this afternoon. So again, with these pop-up storms, it's difficult to get an exact read on them, but this is what we're looking at. By noon, maybe a few scattered showers in our southern counties, but as we head into about 2, 3 o'clock, we'll see a few more of those pop-up shower and thunderstorms across the area, and these will clear out by about 5, 6 o'clock, and then we'll be calm and quiet through the majority of our day, or through the majority of our overnight and into tomorrow, and it'll be roughly the same time tomorrow, right around 2, 3 o'clock, that we're looking at additional scattered thunderstorm development across the area. So again, these are going to be scattered. A lot of us are not going to see anything, unfortunately, but some of us will get some scattered showers and thunderstorms out there, and then again, by about 5, 6 o'clock, they will be out of here. MoDOT camera, 20th in range line, looking good so far, and we're looking all right from the KDOT camera at 69 and 400, of course, just south of Pittsburgh. Our camera, 7th in range line, there's no daylight out there yet, but it is cloudy, and it is a bit on the muggy side. We're at 69 in Joplin, dew point's 59, humidity is up there 70%, with a south-southeast breeze at about 3. Across the area, temperatures look like this. Get 67 Nevada, 65 Chanute, 64 Chatopa, Miami, and 65 in Neosho. We get our morning started. We're expecting mostly clear to partly cloudy skies and pushing near 80 by late morning. And as we head into the afternoon, we're looking at temperatures like yesterday, low to mid 80s, maybe a couple of upper 80 degree readings out there. And again, a few scattered showers and storms. And then by this evening, another mild evening, slow to cool, partly to mostly clear skies, a few partly cloudy skies overnight, back into the lower 60s. Amber?
Thank you, Chris. A rear-ender crash begins when a vehicle strikes a deer in Jasper County, Missouri. Reports of a crash along eastbound I-44 near mile marker 15.4 alerted Jasper County Emergency 911. Responding authorities discovered a rear-end crash after the first vehicle struck a deer. The driver of the first vehicle suffered moderate injuries. His vehicle became disabled after striking the deer. The driver of the second vehicle suffered serious injuries when she struck the disabled vehicle. A 1-year-old child in that vehicle suffered only minor injuries. Authorities surround a home in the Royal Heights neighborhood in Joplin. The Joplin Police Department execute a contain and call out in the Royal Heights neighborhood in response to a domestic situation. Officers surrounded a residence in the 1500 block of East Odessa and announced on a bullhorn for the occupants to exit the residence. JPD says they entered the home looking for a suspect, but once inside the residence, no one was located. This is an ongoing investigation. You can read more about the story as it develops. Just go to our website at koamnewsnow.com. Authorities arrest a man on a felony warrant after a homeowner and witness chased him down the street. Reports of a male breaking windows from a house alerted Iowa County Emergency 911. The homeowner and witness chased the man down the street until he was out of sight. When Quapaw marshals spotted a man matching the description, they began to question him. He ran towards a nearby housing complex. Authorities deployed a K-9 unit which apprehended the suspect. The suspect had 2 active Iowa County warrants for distribution and possession of controlled and dangerous substance. Marshals also have further pending charges. We'll have more on the story as it develops on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. A Pittsburgh woman is sentenced for a murder that happened last year. Authorities say Verla Gilland shot and killed Harold Sheets of Pittsburgh after an argument. She recently pleaded guilty to voluntary manslaughter and aggravated burglary. She is sentenced to 6 years in prison. Authorities in Anderson, Missouri respond to a burglary in progress and find a naked man. On Monday at almost 1 in the afternoon, Anderson Police Department responded to a burglary in progress near the 1500 block of Lodgepole Avenue. The homeowner says she walked into the living room of her house to find a nude man sitting on her couch. She left the residence and called 911. APD responded and set up a perimeter around the residence. They began making announcements to the man inside after a brief standoff in which the man refused to leave. De-escalation techniques were used. The man fled into the backyard where he was detained without incident. Charges were issued for burglary, felony vandalism, and resisting arrest. The most up-to-date numbers on the Census Bureau finds nearly 30% of Americans live near a coastal line. But big trouble is brewing for the Big Apple and a host of other coastal cities across the country, with rising sea levels continue to pose severe threats for flooding, especially as new data shows how the nation's largest cities are sinking. Gary Bugunton reports.
The city that never sleeps is facing a new nightmare. New research published in the journal Earth's Future reveals that New York City is sinking 1 to 2 millimeters each year, making the threat of rising sea levels more alarming.
It's inevitable that the ground's going down, the water's coming up.
Geologists say it's natural for some land masses to sink over time as ground is compressed, but the crushing weight of the Big Apple skyscrapers, sidewalks, and more is speeding up the process. According to researchers, the more than 1 million buildings across New York's 5 boroughs weigh a combined 1.7 trillion tons. But not every part of the concrete jungle is sinking equally. While much of the skyscrapers in central Manhattan are built on rock, some neighborhoods in lower Manhattan, Brooklyn, and Queens lie on top of looser ground.
We have different kinds of soils across New York City, including artificial fill that was put in to enhance some of the land areas, and that can sink just under its own weight because it's so poorly consolidated.
Data from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration predicts ocean levels along the United States could rise 10 to 12 inches over the next 30 years, posing hazards for sinking New York and other coastal cities like San Francisco, Miami, and New Orleans. That's a look at today's top morning stories and weather in your first 7 minutes, coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Pitt State Track returns home to adoring fans and supporters. Plus, humans can take swimming lessons, but did you know your dog can too? And how strong leg muscles can help you during a heart attack. You're watching the KOAM Morning News, more real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
Well, on Saturday, the Pittsburgh State Gorillas won the 2023 NCAA Division II Men's Outdoor Track and Field Championship. The Gorillas made the trip back to Pittsburgh with plenty of fans and supporters there to meet them. The Gorillas were welcomed back to Pittsburgh on Sunday night. Pitt State brings home some hardware with them. The Gorillas have now won back-to-back NCAA Division II titles. Pitt State combined for 66 points in the 3-day championship meet. The next closest team had 47 points. Kyla Davis, Cordell Tench, and Anna Childress all took first place in their events. Gorillas have now captured 4 national titles between indoor and outdoor track.
The view was just to make sure that we focused on the job that each one had to do and what we need to do. So we tried to keep it calm, relaxed, and treat it as another track meet.
It's a lot, and I know Rutledge has such high expectations, and so I know he believed in me just as much as I did, and especially with like Haven being a national champion before me, it's very possible in this program, and so the success that's in this program is just amazing, and I'm glad that I'm able to contribute to that.
It was a great trip, great group of guys, great coaches, great everything, great fans, great support. We had people a whole lot of people in Pitt State shirts that I didn't think were making the trip, but this is a track city, I'm gonna be honest, so it was great to see everybody there for us.
Well, the NCAA Division I baseball regionals were announced yesterday morning. Many of the close regional teams were able to get in, but some didn't make the cut. Starting off with the Fayetteville Regional, Arkansas Razorbacks will be at home. They start off by hosting Santa Clara. Then the Razorbacks will either play the winner or loser of TCU or Arizona. Over to the Stillwater region now. The Cowboys did enough in the Big 12 tournament over the weekend to give themselves a chance to host a regional. The Pokes will take on Oral Roberts, then play the winner or loser between Dallas Baptist or Washington. Then, finally, the Oklahoma Sooners were one of the last 4 teams in to make the NCAA regionals. Oklahoma will have to travel to Charlottesville, Virginia, where they will play East Carolina in the first round. Then the Sooners will play the winner or loser between Virginia and Army West Point. Unfortunately, Kansas State was on the outside looking in. The Wildcats were unable to be selected to play in the NCAA regional tournament. Still to come, a returning panda takes over China's internet as a big star. It's here when we return with the KOAM Morning News with some possible scattered showers out there today. We'll be right back. We're clear. I can see. Well, I've made plenty in my life. Plenty. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 5:16 on this Tuesday morning. So look at those scattered showers across some of our northern counties. Those are expected to die out progressively. And then we'll see what this batch of showers, which you can see is beginning to die out again across parts of central Kansas does. If anything, it'll probably be like yesterday's activity in Oklahoma and kind of be the catalyst for some additional scattered thunderstorm development later today, which is what we're anticipating as we head into the afternoon. For the majority of our day, we're going to be mostly clear to partly cloudy. And then as we get into about 2-3 o'clock this afternoon, we'll have those scattered showers and thunderstorms popping up across the area. And you can see this time they're wanting to hug right along the Kansas-Missouri border back down into our southern counties in Missouri. And that's going to be that trend. Then by about 4 or 5 o'clock, most of them are gone. A few scattered showers still hanging around out there later in the evening, but most of the activity out of here. Then we kick off tomorrow, and it's going to be again like today and yesterday. We're have partly cloudy, mostly clear skies to start. And by the afternoon, here come additional scattered shower and thunderstorm chances. And these ones hold on a little bit longer into the evening, and then they will eventually die out. And then this process will repeat one more time, maybe several more times over the next few days. MoDOT camera, 20th and range line, looks good. Same from the KDOT camera at 69 and 400, just south of Pittsburgh. Our camera, 7th and range line, we're looking all right. We are cloudy and a little bit on the muggy side out there this morning. 69 in Joplin. Humidity dew point are up there at the 70% and 59 respectively. Across the area, temperatures much warmer than they were yesterday for some of us. Remember, Nevada about this time was 55. They're sitting at 67. 65 in Chanute, 62 in Parsons, 64 Chautauqua, Miami, and 65 in Neosho. As we get our morning started, again, for the most part, we're looking to be mostly clear to partly cloudy. Like yesterday, warming up near 80 by late morning. Temperatures today, low to mid 80s, maybe even a couple of upper 80-degree readings out to the west. We're going to be partly cloudy with those scattered showers and storms mixed in through the day. And as we head into the evening, again, same trend, partly cloudy, a couple of scattered showers here and there. Slow to cool, though. I mean, look at this. By 10 o'clock, still sitting at 77. But once we get into the evening, temperatures will fall back, and we'll make it back into the lower 60s. These pop-up thunderstorm chances are going to stick with us all the way through the weekend and into the start of next week. And so that's the thing where they get a little more complicated. Pop-up storms are a little harder for the computers to figure out and to really, focus because they're pop-ups. They're just triggered by the daytime heating. They can be anywhere, anytime. All we can do is give what our best guess is at where they're going to be roughly and roughly what time they're expected. That's going to be the trend as we go through the rest of the week again. Temperatures for the most part looking to stay in the mid-80s, some upper 80s, possibly pushing near 90 on Thursday. And we head into next week, and we're going to hold on at least through midweek to those additional pop-up thunderstorm chances out there. Temperatures do begin to cool as we head toward the middle of next week. We start falling back to the lower 80s and upper 70s out there, but otherwise not too bad. We've just got to contend with those pop-up storms. So great reminder, if you've got outdoor plans at all anytime over the next several days, just keep an eye to the sky and keep the Skywatch weather app handy in case one of those storms happens to pop up right over you. Well, summer is almost here, and as many of us are getting our swimming on, that includes our dogs. Irene Snyder takes us to learn more about dog swimming lessons and more details about how to ensure our furry family members are safe.
Good boy, good swimming.
Some dogs can't get enough of the water, while others are scared to even put a paw in.
What I want people to understand about water safety, it's just as important for our animals as it is for our humans.
Because contrary to popular belief, not all dogs are good natural swimmers.
Dogs that have really dense muscles and are heavy, they're going to sink just because they don't have body fat, they don't have webbed feet. So we will naturally put a vest on them.
But all dogs can learn some tips and tricks to help them along.
You can give your dog some treats.
During the summer months, AZ dog sports trainer Denise Franzak Johnson teaches private dog swim classes. The first step, luring them into the water.
Come here. Step down.
Like all dogs, Levi here doesn't have depth perception like humans do, so he can't tell how deep the water is.
I do have them leashed up so that they can be guided into the pool, especially for dogs who are fearful.
The next step, teaching them to go to the stairs.
To the stairs. Good boy. It's putting markers by the stairs, maybe a little potted plant.
And learning to use their back feet.
I hold their back end and I just keep them moving and moving around the pool until they eventually kind of calm down.
While it may sometimes take a few tries and a lot of patience, Denise says if she can help save even one life, it's worth it.
That brings us to our question for you this morning. Have you taken swimming lessons? Yes or no? We want to hear from you. Make sure you take time to vote through our website, KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. You can also do so through the KOAM News Now app. And, of course, take part in the discussion on our Facebook page. We'll be back with Health Watch right after this.
Hotels. Trouble booking the family vacay? Come on. Comfort does free hot breakfast for the whole fam. They have waffles. And splendid pools. Book direct at choicehotels.com.
Who has the deals? Furniture Row. Who has the deals? Furniture Row. The Memorial Day super sale was so great, we just had to extend it. And with trucks still rolling in, the savings keep getting better and better. The more you buy, the more you save. Save $100 for every 1,000 you spend. Check out special purchases while they last. And financing? We're talking 6 years, no interest. But don't wait. The extended Memorial Day super sale at Furniture Row ends soon.
Every life in the 4 states should be celebrated and remembered. KOAM News Now is proud to host a section on our website dedicated to this cause. Welcome to 4 State Obituaries, a free resource to the local community. If you would like to pay respect to the lives we have recently lost, we encourage you to visit KOAMnewsnow.com/obits. Read about the lives of those who call the 4 states home. 4 State Obituaries is a service of KOAM News Now and Durfelt Funeral Homes. It's more than a service, it's our ministry.
Bands for Brothers rocks Happy Jack's Tavern in Seneca Saturday, June 24th, a day of rock to benefit our veterans first to help end veteran homelessness. Gates open at noon, music starts at 2, tickets $10, veterans get in free. With MC Longhorn the Comedian and featuring Constant Chaos, Until Now, Full Throttle Rock and Roll, and headliners Paralandra and Dirty Deeds, a tribute to AC/DC. You gotta go! The 4th annual Bands for Brothers, Saturday, June 24th. They're coming June 9th and 10th. The O'Reilly Auto Parts Outlaw Nationals at Miami Fairgrounds Arena. Win a VIP package valued at $240. Register to win now through June 4th at KOAMnewsnow.com/contests.
Topping Health Watch this morning, there is a growing evidence that building muscle strength is good for your heart, but it could even lead to better outcomes for people who have heart attacks. Researchers in Japan studied quad muscles, the front of the upper thighs, in more than 900 older patients who were hospitalized because of a heart attack. They found the risk of other heart attack was more than double for those who have weak quads than patients who have strong quad muscles. The findings have not yet been published but were presented at a European Societies of Cardiologists meeting this month. In a similar study back in 2016, the same researchers found that muscle mass in your upper arms could be associated with rates of surviving heart disease. Doctors are keeping a close eye on a little-known respiratory virus. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reports cases of a virus known as HMPV spiked 30% higher than the average this spring. Medical professionals say HMPV is tricky to diagnose since it has the same symptoms as other respiratory viruses like influenza and COVID-19. Those symptoms including coughing, runny nose, sore throat, and fever. But the CDC researchers say HMPV is causing a higher percentage of positives, particularly in young children and seniors. Cancer specialists in Great Britain may help advance knowing where cancer spreads with the help of artificial intelligence. The British oncologists say they developed an AI model to help predict whether aggressive cancers will spread based on changes in a patient's lymph nodes. The researchers hope to use AI to analyze immune responses of women with triple-negative breast cancer. The researchers tested an AI model on more than 5,000 lymph nodes donated by roughly 350 patients. They took microscope findings and put them into a learning framework for the AI model. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Yeah, we've got ourselves a repeat of yesterday across the area. Some scattered showers this morning, more this afternoon. We'll take another look at that forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Right now at 5:30, PSU honors those who have fallen with a Memorial Day program.
We could just replay yesterday's forecast because today, very similar with partly cloudy skies, warm temperatures, and some scattered showers. We'll take a look at that forecast coming up.
Also, PSU's President Dan Shipp's bike ride across Kansas has come to an end.
The four states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is 5:29. I'm Amber Jenkins.
I'm Chris Warner. So another nice start out there, a little milder, a little muggier this morning than where we were yesterday. But you know, that's the thing I like about summer is those warmer overnights and the warmer mornings. Because you know, I hate waking up and it's like 30 degrees outside. Even though the day may be beautiful, the morning is so frigid it makes you just not want to roll out of bed. Not the case today though. You'll want to roll out of bed. It's pretty pleasant. Some of our northern counties getting in on a few scattered showers this morning, maybe even a couple of rumbles of thunder out there. So this activity will eventually begin to move out and die down as the morning continues. And then we'll keep an eye on what happens with all of this activity out here across central Kansas. These are the remnants of some strong to severe thunderstorms yesterday in southwestern Nebraska and northwestern Kansas. There was an outflow boundary that triggered some additional development out ahead of the dying batch of storms. As you can see, no strong or severe storms with this activity, but it will very likely be the catalyst for additional shower and thunderstorm development this afternoon. Now that'll be scattered like yesterday. So you remember, not everybody saw rain. I saw the clouds from Joplin, but never got a drop of rain in the city, at least not where I was. So let's head into the afternoon. By about 2, 3 o'clock, here are those scattered showers and thunderstorms. There'll be those pop-up storms, kind of just fueled by the heating of the day. Here we are by 6, a few more of them across the area, this time looking to hug the Kansas-Missouri border. And then as the evening progresses, they just turn into a few scattered showers out there. And then into the overnight and tomorrow, it's once again just dry and mostly clear out there. But by tomorrow afternoon, you can check the date. This now says Wednesday, not Tuesday at 3. It is almost a repeat of this afternoon with those pop-up storms again starting about 2, 3 o'clock. And those will hang on again. Here we are by 5, and then by the evening hours, they will die out and move on out of the area. And that process is you can just hit copy and paste. And that's how the forecast is for the next several days. MoDOT camera, 20th and Rangeline looking good. Same from the KDOT camera at 69 and 400, of course, just south of Pittsburgh. Our camera, 7th and Rangeline, now that we're getting a little daylight out there, you can see those cloudy skies, 69, muggy, 70% humidity, dew point at 59 out there, so it's a bit sticky when you go outside. Taking a look at temperatures around the area, much warmer, 69 in Pittsburgh, 65 Chanute, 65 Miami, 66 Neosho, and 69 in Carthage. We get our day started. We're looking at those mostly clear to partly cloudy skies, pushing near 80 by late morning. We head into the afternoon, partly cloudy skies, so scattered showers, maybe a thunderstorm or two, highs low to mid 80s. And then tonight, didn't have to change these numbers much either. Back to the lower 60s, a slow cool down again. Couple of stray showers, otherwise partly to mostly cloudy skies again for us this evening. Amber?
Thank you, Chris. Missouri families who were promised emergency pandemic grocery funds last summer are still waiting, even as another summer is beginning. Pandemic EBT is a federal program administered by the states. Last summer, it was designed to provide a one-time deposit of $391 per eligible child in grocery benefits to assist low-income families. The benefits, like the regular federal food stamps program, could be used like a debit card called electronic benefit transfer to purchase eligible food. Last week, the department issued a statement saying teams are in the final stages of testing data files so they can administer the summer benefits. On Monday, the GAR Cemetery in Miami honored fallen veterans with a Memorial Day ceremony. The ceremony included the Colors Entrance March by local Marine group, a performance of the Pledge of Allegiance, and a flag ceremony. An opening and closing prayer was led by United States Navy veterans and City of Miami employee Kevin Cogg. Pittsburgh State University also honored veterans with a memorial program at the PSU Veterans Memorial. The program featured traditional elements of Memorial Day ceremonies, including a color guard comprised of cadets from the PSU's ROTC program and the playing of taps and singing the national anthem by PSU music students.
I know two of these people, Rick Ramsey and John Copper, here on panel 40E. These are not names to me. These are friends.
The recording of the event can be viewed at any time on the PSU Veterans Memorials page. Pittsburgh State University's president Dan Shipp just returned to Gorilla Nation after biking around the state of Kansas. The purpose of the trip was to meet potential future students and earn money for those students. During the biking trip, PSU earned $7.6 million in pledges and met over 1,000 new friends.
We did it. Over 800 miles covered. We saw some amazing places, had the chance to meet some amazing people, connect with our alumni along the way.
You can read more about this story on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. A program in Arizona is helping women step into a mostly male-dominated industry. Anita Roman has more.
This is Haley Hine. At just 19, this North Phoenix native is already on track to a successful career in motorsports.
I got started in racing from my dad. She's been around in the racing in the side-by-side stuff since day one, and that's mostly male too.
Haley says her dad taught her to race, fueling her love for the sport, and it was both parents who kick-started an amazing opportunity.
The Chip Ganassi Racing Women in Motorsports internship, my parents heard about it on a commercial, and my mom ended up sending me the ad, and it was an application through Resume.
Haley has been selected as one of 3 interns for Women in Motorsports, powered by PNC Bank with Chip Ganassi Racing.
I think it's really crazy that there was people all over the United States that applied for this, women all over the United States that applied for this, and to be one of 3 chosen shows that I have some aspects that might be helpful to them and their team, and they have aspects that are going to be helpful to me.
During her 2-month internship, Haley and her fellow interns will travel with the team to select races during the 2023 NTT IndyCar Series season. Women in Motorsports was launched in 2022 to provide more women with opportunities in traditionally male-dominated careers in the field of motorsports.
We've been involved with Chip Ganassi Racing for years, and in part of all of our efforts to enhance women's equality, this was one that we thought was really interesting and exciting to do, to broaden the racing platform across a lot of different pieces to include women.
I would say if you see an opportunity and you think that you can't get into it, don't let that hold you back.
An incoming sophomore at NAU, Haley is majoring in mechanical engineering and hopes to pursue a career as an engineer and parts designer for a professional racing team. It's fair to say she's full speed ahead. This morning, we're discussing swimming lessons.
Yeah, see, some dogs can't get enough of the water, while others are scared to even put a paw in. That's me. Because contrary to popular belief, not all dogs or people are good natural swimmers. Now, while understanding water safety for humans is good, understanding it for your pets is also good.
All dogs can learn some tips and tricks to help them along. The first step is luring them into the water. Unlike humans, dogs don't have depth perception, so trying to get them in when they can't tell how deep the water is could be pretty scary for them.
And the next step is teaching them to go to the stairs and learning to use their back feet. Now, while it may sometimes take a few tries and a lot of patience, it's helping to save one life can be well worth it. That brings us to our question for you this morning. Have you taken any swimming lessons? So far, an even split. Half of you have, half of you have not. I have not. I can't swim.
I did when I was like 6 or 7. I had a great time. I love swimming lessons, but I had to stop, unfortunately.
But can you still swim? If we got that pool we were discussing yesterday, could you still swim?
I feel like I'll float. Like I'm not going to drown or freak out, but I'm not going to be like Michael Phelps,
I will drown or freak out or both. So that's, yeah.
I'll help you. Don't worry.
I appreciate that. Somebody's got to keep me afloat because I don't do it myself. I've tried, really. The wife has tried.
Really?
And I straight up sink. I am not buoyant at all. So, well, make sure you take time. Oh, look, 60% of you now say you have not. 40% of you say you have. So make sure you continue to vote in our poll through our website, the app. Take part in discussion on our Facebook page.
And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. With more and more interest in Mars, scientists are now debating where do they put a research base.
Plus, Nepal's government honors the person to climb Mount Everest 70 years ago. We'll have the latest.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look at Lakeside Park in Pittsburgh. Topping World Watch. Giant panda Yaya is a sensation again, blowing up China's internet after ending a month-long quarantine in Shanghai on Sunday. She is now at her new home in Beijing following her return from the U.S. Yaya was loaned to Memphis Zoo back in 2003, a high point in the U.S.-China relations. After 2 decades in the United States, her scheduled return last month came to symbolize a deteriorating relationship between the world's two superpowers, underscored by heated discussions in China about the treatment of Yaya by the Memphis Zoo. As of Monday morning, the hashtag Yaya was the second most trending topic on Weibo with more than 1.4 million searches. Nepal celebrates 70 years since the first ascent of Mount Everest. People pay tribute at the statues of Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay, the first people to reach the summit of the world's highest mountain on May 29, 1953. Hundreds of people from the mountaineering community, Sherpa guides, and officials attended a rally to mark the anniversary. Several climbers were honored Monday during a celebration to mark the historic day, including Sherpa guides Kimarita, who climbed Everest twice this season for a record 28 times overall. And Sandhu Sherpa, who climbed all of the world's 14 highest peaks twice. Sharbin Gar, who became the first double above the knee amputee to climb Everest, was also honored. Across the pond, a zoo is using hypotherapy to help people overcome their fear of spiders. The fear of spiders is real, leaving people anxious, scared, and it's even debilitating for some. A group of people learned to overcome their intense phobia of spiders in just 1 day after participating in a special program at London Zoo. They were taught about spiders prior to undergoing a hypotherapy session that helps correct a subconscious fear. The mind-body intervention appears to be working. Outrage across Iran following the execution of 3 tortured protesters. The executions came after a 4-month pause. Human rights groups say executions soared 83% in 2022. Salmadan Abadaz has more on the story.
Outside a jail near Tehran, families of prisoners gathered chant, "Do not hang them." Their pleas come as Iran resumes the execution of protesters after a months-long hiatus. The brutal practice restarted this month with the hanging of 3 young men accused of killing 3 members of the security forces during anti-government protests in November. The news sparked more demonstrations. But activists and human rights groups say the allegations against the trio are baseless. Majid Kazemi was forced to watch video of interrogators torturing his brother, and he was subject to at least 15 mock executions, according to Amnesty International. In an audio note obtained by the organization, he maintained his innocence. CNN cannot independently verify the clip. They kept beating me and ordering me to say this weapon is mine, he says. I told them I would say whatever they wanted, just please leave my family alone. Before his execution, the family of 36-year-old Salem Mir Hashami, a karate coach from Esfahan, tried to draw attention to his plight. This picture of his father spread on social media. My son is innocent, the sign reads. But to no avail. Activists shared this heartbreaking video they say is Mir Hashami's dad hugging his picture as he lay by his son's grave. Iran has not responded to CNN's request for comment. The total number of demonstrators known to have been executed since last year now stands at 7, according to CNN reporting, and more executions are likely imminent. Over 100 protesters have been sentenced to death or are facing charges punishable by death, says this human rights activist.
When authorities fear protests or right after protests, number of executions go up. The aim is to create fear in the society to prevent more protests.
Do you expect that the number of executions is going to rise even more this year?
It is rising already unless the international community takes a strong move against these executions. We might be facing a very large number of executions in the coming months.
Rights groups say that Mohammad Robatlu, a 22-year-old protester with a mental health issue, could be one of the next victims of Iran's execution machine. Activists are ringing the alarm. They say yet another Iranian faces death just for daring to speak out. Sam Abdulaziz, CNN, London.
That's a look at today's of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 5:48 on this Tuesday morning. Still got some of those scattered showers, even a couple of rumbles of thunder in our northern counties, getting into the Nevada area as well. These will continue to just kind of churn here for a bit and progressively die out. This activity out to our north and west, as you can see, it fired up and is rapidly dying, but this little pulse here is going to be enough to set off some additional scattered showers and thunderstorms across our area later this afternoon. So let's take a look down the road. Here we are about noon today. We got those partly cloudy, mostly clear skies across the region. Temperatures looking pretty good. And then by about 2, 3 o'clock is when we'll start to see some of those pop-up storms again. This time they really seem to want to hug right along the Missouri-Kansas border. And these will persist. Here we are by 6 o'clock. A few more of these scattered storms out there are possible. And then as we head later into the evening, we get a few dying showers. And overnight, we clear back out again. And we will stay that way through the majority of our Wednesday, which will be almost a copy of today, until we get, once again, 2, 3 o'clock. We're going to start to see additional showers and thunderstorms popping up across the area, and these will hold on through the evening again. Here we are at 5, starting to shift a little further to the west, and here we are as we go through the evening and into the overnight hours. They once again clear out, and then this process will repeat again for us for the next several days. MoDOT camera, 20th and range line. Looking to the south, you can see we've got those cloudy skies out there. Otherwise, not bad. And we get the same from the KDOT camera at 69 and 400, just south of Pittsburgh. Bit of a cloudy start for some of us across the area. There's another look at those clouds from our camera at 7th and range line. Sitting at 69 in Joplin, a little bit on the muggy side out there. Dew points up to 59. Humidity is at 70%. Temperatures around the region better than they were yesterday for some of us. Nevada, for example, was at 55 yesterday morning. They're up to 66 now. Got 61 Neodesha, 64 Chetopa, 63 Miami. Alabama, 66 Neosho, and we're sitting at 69 in Carthage. We get our morning started. We're otherwise looking to be mostly clear to partly cloudy as the morning goes on. We're going to reach once again near 80 by late morning. Heading into the afternoon, highs again, low to mid 80s, maybe even a couple of upper 80-degree readings out there. Partly cloudy skies for most of us, and then we'll get those scattered showers and thunderstorms out there as we head through the afternoon and into the early evening hours. Then we'll transition right back to partly to mostly cloudy skies, staying mild, dropping back down into the lower 60s once again for our overnight lows. And you can just copy and paste this forecast to tomorrow. Upper 80s, scattered afternoon thunderstorms. Same on Thursday, maybe pushing near 90, and these pop-up storms hang with us all the way through at least Monday next week, with temperatures for the most part mid to upper 80s and our overnight lows right in the lower to mid 60s. Let's check your forecast. We'll be back with more right after this, but first, here's another live look from Lakeside Park in Pittsburgh.
While we may not be close to living on Mars, scientists are at least trying to get us closer to building a base on the red planet. So far, their work studying earthquakes activity could help narrow down the best possible locations for a future fort. Marianne Raffitere takes a closer look.
A lot of things need to happen before people could potentially live on Mars, like building a base. To help determine the most stable and safest location on the red planet for a future fort, scientists in Switzerland are studying earthquake activity on Mars to learn more about its structural integrity. That's the noise of a 4.6 magnitude Mars quake at the center of this research. It's one of the largest quakes recorded during NASA's previous InSight mission.
What's great about this quake was that it was so strong that these surface waves were able to travel the entire planet multiple times. You can now start to measure the velocity of which these surface waves travel along the planet, and based on that velocity, we can actually extract the information about the interior structure of Mars.
Using the rumbles from this Mars quake, researchers calculated Mars' crust, or outermost layer, is between 26 to 35 miles deep, thicker than the crust on Earth and the Moon. The quake also revealed the crust on the southern hemisphere of the red planet is deeper than in the north. Besides building a base in a spot not prone to earthquakes, researchers also recommend construction center near ice deposits on Mars to help provide people with a source of water.
To help advance these findings, researchers say future manned missions to Mars should include a scientist trained in understanding the inner makeup of the planet. We'll be right back. Rescuers saved the day for a newborn kitten trapped in a drain pipe for 3 days. Crews with the Animals Lebanon charity came to the rescue of the feline who got stuck in a drain pipe under a building in Beirut. A small heat detector was used to locate the kitten before crews began using a small drill to dig through dirt and debris. People watching the rescue cheered once the female kitty was removed safely and put into a crate. The vice president of the animal charity suggests naming her Beirut. The National Park Service has a deal that may withstand the sands of time. The Park Service is offering proposals for those wanting leases on 8 historic dune shacks along the Cape Cod National Seashore in Provincetown and Truro, Massachusetts. The shacks have rustic features with limited running water and electricity. Value of these leases between $2,000 and $16,000 a year, depending on dwelling size. The shack are offered as an as-is condition. Riders such as Jack Kulek, Eugene O'Neill, Tennessee Williams, and Jackson Pollock use these shacks for decades as a retreat.
Well, we've got ourselves a day similar to yesterday. Got some scattered showers out there this morning. We should transition to mostly clear to partly cloudy skies as the morning progresses, but near 80 by late morning. Highs today, low to mid 80s, maybe even a couple of upper 80-degree readings out there. Partly cloudy through the afternoon. Could still again see some scattered showers and thunderstorms this afternoon for some of us. Then we'll transition back to partly to mostly cloudy skies heading through the evening and overnight. Still mild and eventually dropping back into the lower 60s. And this pattern repeats for the next several days. We'll have these pop-up storm chances all the way through this coming Monday. Could reach near 90 on Thursday. Temperatures otherwise hanging out in the mid to upper 80s across the area. Our overnight lows right around the mid 60s. We'll be back with another hour of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Joplin Sesquicentennial.
Right now at 6, a Pittsburgh woman learns her fate for her participation in a 2022 murder.
Got some cloudy skies out there for some of us and even some scattered showers and thunderstorms. We'll talk about that forecast coming up.
Also, the Joplin Police Department surrounds a house in the Royal Heights neighborhood following a domestic situation.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. I'm Amber Jenkins.
I'm Chris Warner. Just after 6 o'clock on this Tuesday morning, which means, as we always say, we're already on that downhill run to Friday after a long holiday weekend for some of us. And we've got a weather pattern that we are just going to be locked into for the next several days. It's going to be warm, and we're going to continue to see scattered showers and thunderstorms. Excuse me. So here's a look at the Skywatch storm tracker. We have those showers and thunderstorms in our northern counties. You can see the lightning being picked up here on the Skywatch storm tracker. We've still got a few other showers trying to get going across parts of the area, but overall these are going to start to clear out as the morning progresses, and then we'll be left with partly cloudy to mostly clear skies. And then this afternoon we'll have another repeat of yesterday where we could see some additional scattered showers and thunderstorms begin to develop across the area. Here we go. By 6 o'clock you can see they don't move much. The storms develop, they die out, and then they redevelop in almost the same areas. By the time we head into the evening, we're left with just a few dying showers, and we go into the overnight hours and into tomorrow, and those showers are gone. However, tomorrow will repeat today as we head into about 2, 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Here come additional scattered showers and thunderstorms across the area. So again, not all of us will see rain, but at least some of us will get some of that much needed rain. By 5, starting to shift off to the west, and as the evening progresses, those will die out. And then by Thursday, it repeats again. MoDOT camera 20th and range line showing those cloudy skies out there as we start to get some daylight across the area. Cloudy skies from the KDOT camera at 69 and 400, otherwise staying dry for right now. We take a look at our camera at 7th and range line. See those cloudy skies, 69 in Joplin. It's been a little on the muggy side. Dew point 58, humidity is at 68% with a south breeze at about 7. Across the area, a little warmer than yesterday, 66 Nevada, 68 Pittsburgh, 60 Neodesha, 64 Chetopa, 63 Miami, and 65 in Neosho. We get our morning started. Again, aside from a few scattered showers out there, we're going to start to trend partly to mostly clear to partly cloudy, rather. Temperatures pushing near 80 by late morning. We head into the afternoon, low to mid 80s out there for our highs, partly cloudy skies, some scattered showers and thunderstorms for some of us. And then this evening, another mild evening, partly to mostly cloudy skies heading overnight, temperatures dropping back into the lower 60s. Amber?
Thanks, Chris. Authorities in Anderson, Missouri respond to a burglary in progress and find a naked man. On Monday at almost 1 in the afternoon, Anderson Police Department responded to a burglary in progress near the 1500 block of Lodgepole Avenue. The homeowner says she walked into her living room of her house and found a nude man sitting on the couch. She left the residence and, of course, called 911. APD responded and set up a perimeter around the residence. They began making announcements to the man inside after a brief standoff in which the man refused to leave. De-escalation techniques were used. The man fled into a backyard where he was detained without incident. Charges were issued for burglary, felony vandalism, and resisting arrest. A rear-ender crash begins when a vehicle strikes a deer in Jasper County, Missouri. Reports of a crash along the eastbound I-44 near mile marker 15.4 alerted Jasper County Emergencies 911. Responding authorities discovered a rear-ender crash after the first vehicle struck a deer. The driver of the first vehicle suffered moderate injuries. His vehicle became disabled after striking the deer. The driver of the second vehicle suffered serious injuries when she struck the disabled vehicle. A 1-year-old child in that vehicle suffered only minor injuries. Authorities surround a home in the Royal Heights neighborhood in Joplin. Joplin Police Department execute a contain and call out in the Royal Heights neighborhood in response to a domestic situation. Officers surround the residents in the 2100 block of East Odessa and announce on a bullhorn for the occupants to exit the residence. JPD says they entered the home looking for a suspect, but once inside the residence, nobody was located. This is an ongoing investigation, and you can read more about the story as it develops. Just go to our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Authorities arrest a man on a felony warrant after a homeowner and a witness chased him down the street. Reports of a male breaking windows from a house alerted Ottawa County Emergencies 911. The homeowner and witness chased the man down the street until he was out of sight. When Quapaw marshals spotted the man matching the description, they began questioning him. He ran towards a nearby housing complex. Authorities deployed a K-9 unit which apprehended the suspect. The suspect had 2 active warrants in Iowa County for distribution and possession of controlled substances. Marshals also have further pending charges. We'll have more on this story as it develops on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. A Pittsburgh woman is sentenced for a murder that happened last year. Authorities say Verla Gillen shot and killed Harold Cheese of Pittsburgh after an argument. She recently pleaded guilty to voluntary manslaughter and aggravated burglary. She is sentenced to 6 years in prison. 9 people were shot yesterday in Hollywood Beach, Florida, after an argument resulted in gunfire. So far, no one has died, but police say the victims' ages range from just 1 year old to 65 years old. One person is in custody and the other is still at large. Kristen Benedez has more. Police gave an update on the shooting victims overnight. One went into surgery while the others remained in stable conditions. To be the first to see breaking news and weather and sports, download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search the words KOAM News app. That's a look at our morning's top stories and weather in your first 7 minutes coming up in the KOAM Morning News. Memorial Day marks the unofficial start of summer season, and that usually means a trip to your favorite swimming spot. I know I love that. But a nationwide shortage of lifeguards means that some spots might come up high and dry this year. Plus, summer also means the abundance of sun that could lead to some serious skin problems. We got some tips from experts on how to correctly use sunscreen and keep your family safe. And Chris returns with another look at your forecast and whether the 4 states can expect more of this beautiful weather or they can see the clouds rolling in again. We'll see. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. But first, here's a live look from Lakeside Park in good old Pittsburgh. Topping Nation Watch this morning, the teen accused of crashing a U-Haul truck near the White House is asking for the court to delay his hearing. Salvar Kandula's detention hearing was set for today, but on Monday, his attorney filed for a motion to reschedule it for Friday. Kandula's lawyer is asking for more time to prepare a release plan proposal. Prosecutors argue that the 19-year-old is not a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident, and it could be a serious flight risk. On Sunday night, fire in Louisville, Kentucky had left 3 people dead. That's according to the Louisville Fire Department. They say 3 died after they were rescued and transported to a local hospital. Their identities have not been released yet. But authorities say the victims were 2 women, one in their 80s and the other in their 50s. The man who died was also in his 50s. Louisville Fire say they are investigating the cause of the fire. A former Harlem prison will soon be a temporary home to asylum seekers. New York State officials say the Lincoln Correctional Facility will be used to house migrants seeking refugees. Officials point out that the facility, though a former prison, does not have cells. In 1976, the state turned it into a minimum security work release program. They closed it in 2019 because of a decline in the prison population. The closure left almost 400 beds empty, beds that would now have a home to asylum seekers. Official state says they will work together over the next few days to move the migrants in. Fans of the Miami Heat are celebrating. Their team has defeated the Boston Celtics in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals Monday night, scoring 103 to the Celtics 84. The stunning defeat came after 3 straight wins from Boston, forcing a winner-take-all contest. The Heat now advances to the league's championship, where they'll face off the top seed team of the West, the Denver Nuggets. The NBA Finals take place Thursday in Denver. It will be Game 1 in the best of 7 in the series. As an unofficial start to summer knocks off, the beaches and pools across the country are plagued by the same problem, a lifeguard shortage. It's forced some cities to close their beaches and pools because there aren't enough staff to patrol the waters. Jen Sullivan looks at what these areas are doing to ease the shortage.
As beach and pool goers dive into the summer season, there's a deep issue facing many communities, a lack of lifeguards, and it could put your safety at risk.
This is a real problem. It is important for people to keep in mind their own safety around the water.
The American Lifeguard Association estimates close to half of the nation's public pools are impacted. The shortage is forcing cities to make tough decisions.
There's really only two options. One is to just simply shut down your lifeguarded facility or beach venue, or two, which is to turn it into a swim at your own risk facility.
Swimming at your own risk could have dangerous consequences. The CDC estimates about 4,000 people in the U.S. die from drowning each year, which is why lifeguards undergo extensive training in first aid.
They're part of the EMS system, just like police, fire, and hospital rescue.
Lifeguard first aid and CPR courses, though, can cost more than $400. Those steep fees, coupled with low hourly wages, are some of the reasons for the shortage. The pandemic exacerbated the problem when pools and beaches were closed, forcing lifeguards to find other jobs. Some areas are now offering big incentives to entice workers back to the water. New York offering lifeguards more than $21 an hour. Phoenix, $3,000 in incentive pay, and Austin offering $20 an hour plus bonus payouts.
We got to take it more serious, the fact that we need to train individuals, get them excited at an early age.
I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
That's a look at today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got ourselves some cloudy skies out there and some showers and even a couple of thunderstorms for some of us. We'll talk about these morning showers and what we can expect for the afternoon when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. 6:17 now on this Tuesday morning. Time for a little weather trivia, and we want to know this. Which state has recorded twice as many lightning deaths or injuries as any other? Is it Oklahoma, New Mexico, California, or Florida? We're going to find out the answer to that question in just a moment. But first, let's take a look at this. Additional showers, even a couple of rumbles of thunder now developing right along the I-49 corridor. So we're getting a little bit of some pulse activity even early this morning. We mentioned it was a little bit muggier out there this morning, a little bit warmer, and that is allowing for some additional shower and thunderstorm development across the area. Now this will eventually push on out of here and then give us partly cloudy to mostly clear skies as we go through the late morning and into the early afternoon hours before we see additional scattered showers and thunderstorms begin to develop right around 2, 3 o'clock this afternoon. And these will hold on through about 6, 7 o'clock, and then they'll begin to kind of just wither away into a few dying showers as we head later into the evening. And then that all clears out. We go through the overnight. We're looking good. We head into tomorrow morning. We're looking good. And we end up with roughly the same pattern. Here we are at noon, clouds, partly cloudy skies, and then by about 2, 3 o'clock, here they come again. Another round of some scattered showers and thunderstorms across the area. So again, these are pop-up storms. So they may not be in these exact locations by this time tomorrow, but this is the rough area where it looks like it is most likely we're going to see some of those pop-up storms. As we go through the evening, these ones hold on a little bit better, so they start to shift to the west. Now they're moving into parts of southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma, and then as we head later into the evening, say about 8, 9 o'clock, they clear on out of here. But we're going to have a repeat pattern as we head into tomorrow afternoon with Thursday afternoon with more scattered showers and thunderstorms across the area. This morning, MoDOT camera, 20th and Range Line. We're seeing some of those cloudy skies out there, a little bit of daylight trying to peek through, and we're getting the same cloudy skies from the KDOT camera at 69 and 400 just south of Pittsburgh. And as we look at our camera at 7th and Range Line, you can see a little bit of the blue skies trying to get out there, but otherwise some pretty cloudy skies, and that's because, as we showed you on the Skywatch Storm Tracker, getting some shower and thunderstorm development taking place in parts of southwest Missouri. We're at 69 in Joplin, humidity is at 68%, and dew point is at 58. 48. We got a south breeze at about 7. We are warmer this morning than yesterday. As we mentioned earlier, Nevada at this time is about 55. They're sitting 11 degrees warmer at 66. 61 in Parsons, 64 Chatopa, 68 Pittsburgh, Lamar, 63 Miami, and 65 in Neosho. We get our morning started, so we've got these thunderstorms developing along the I-49 corridor. Outside of that, the rest of us should be mostly clear to partly cloudy, warming into the upper 70s near 80 by late morning, and as we head into the afternoon, highs low to mid 80s, partly cloudy skies. We'll see those additional scattered showers and thunderstorms through the afternoon and early evening hours. And then once we head later into the evening, we'll have partly to mostly cloudy skies, still pretty mild, but like yesterday, we'll cool off again back into the lower 60s for our overnight lows. Now, back to our weather trivia question. So which state has recorded twice as many lightning deaths or injuries as any other? Well, if you happen to pick D, Florida, you would be correct. In fact, the top 10 states are Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina, New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, Colorado, and Texas. And of course, one of the big things we emphasize with thunderstorms is when thunder roars, head indoors. If you can hear the thunder, you are close enough to be struck by lightning, and lightning can strike several miles from the parent thunderstorm. We've seen that actually on the Skywatch Storm Tracker. Not today, but in other storm situations, it'll detect a lightning strike that's miles from the actual thunderstorm itself. We go through the rest of the week. We've got this repeating pattern of pop-up afternoon thunderstorms all the way through at least Monday. Could be pushing near 90 by Thursday. Otherwise, afternoon highs mid to upper 80s and our overnight lows right around the mid 60s. So not too bad temperature-wise, and at least a few chances of some scattered storms and showers. We'll be back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, a diet low in flavonols, the nutrients found in some fruits and vegetables, could contribute to age-related memory loss. Researchers at Columbia and Brigham and Women's Hospital followed 3,500 older adults for 3 years. They found those with poor diets who took a flavonol supplement showed significant improvement in memory compared to others who took a placebo. A Japanese study links excessive salt to reduce cognitive functions. Scientists fed lab mice high amounts of salt for 12 weeks. Researchers concluded that the increase in salt intake altered the biochemical makeup of the animals' brains, leading to hypertension and reduced cognitive functions. The World Health Organization recommends limiting salt consumptions to less than 5 grams a day. And the more you move, the less you hurt. A data analysis of 10,000 Norwegian adults revealed people who are more physically active reported a higher tolerance for pain compared to those with a more sedentary lifestyle. Health leaders from nearly 100 countries are in Switzerland this week for the World Health Organization's 76th World Health Assembly. Much of the focus is on vaccinations and cervical cancer. On Monday, the Director General said, quote, vaccines are bringing the dream of limiting cervical cancer within reach. World health leaders say giving girls just one shot could provide them enough protection against cervical cancer and other HPV conditions. WHO scientists say that the single-dose approach could be a game changer for the prevention of cancer. The organization's goal is to have 90% of girls across the globe vaccinated by the time they're 15. It's the unofficial start of summer, and as you spend more time outside, don't forget to protect your skin from the sun. Sunscreen is a great tool to do that, but some health experts say many people may not apply it the right way. Manny Gatter has some more on the common sunscreen mistakes and how to fix them.
It's that time of year again when many are out enjoying the warmer weather, but protecting your skin is critical.
Sunscreen is the most common and one of the easiest ways to do it. We just have to remember to use our sunscreens.
Dermatologist Susan Masick with the Ohio State University's Wexner Medical Center says sunscreen mistakes are often made when applying it.
They assume they can just apply it when they're already at their activity or they're already at the pool or the beach, but you actually have to apply it about 10 to 15 minutes beforehand. You also have to remember to reapply every 2 to 3 hours.
If you're swimming or sweating, you'll need to reapply even more often. Masick says mineral sunblock may be easier on sensitive skin, but the best kind of sunscreen is the one you'll actually use.
We want to make sure that we're using the type that is both UVA and UVB protective, so it's broad spectrum protection.
Masick says another mistake is not using enough sunscreen. She says you can never put on too much.
We tend to quantify by, 2 ping pong balls worth of sunscreen and apply it all over. You want to make sure that you apply to all the areas that are exposed, whether it's your face, your ears, hands, feet.
And don't forget, sunscreens expire. Masick says to replace them every year.
Masick says sun protection isn't limited to just sunscreen, but you can also protect your skin through things like hats, rash guards, long sleeves, and other clothing. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Yeah, we've got a few scattered showers and thunderstorms out there this morning along the I-49 corridor. Otherwise, we're looking at partly cloudy to mostly clear skies through the morning, and we'll reach temperatures approaching near 80 by late morning. Heading into the afternoon, we're looking at partly cloudy skies, and we'll see some of us getting some scattered showers and thunderstorms across the area again this afternoon, say around 2, 3 o'clock, running till about 6, 7 o'clock this evening. Highs pushing low to mid 80s, maybe even a couple of upper 80-degree readings out there. As we head into the evening, we've got ourselves clearing out. We'll be partly to mostly cloudy overnight, mild initially, and then eventually dropping back into the low 60s. And then, as we've been talking about this morning, this pattern repeats all the way through at least Monday with pop-up afternoon thunderstorms across the area. So these will be widely scattered, pushing possibly near 90 by Thursday. Otherwise, our highs looking to be mid to upper 80s. Our overnight lows hanging out right around the mid 60s. We'll be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Right now at 6:30, some Missouri families continue to wait on promised emergency pandemic grocery funds from a year ago.
Got some cloudy skies out there for some of us, even some scattered showers and thunderstorms. We'll talk about what we're going to see this afternoon and how long this pattern lasts coming up.
Also, KOAM Sagoon Bomadeli takes us to a Joplin gym where taking up a workout challenge means honoring fallen veterans.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:30 on the dot. I'm Amber Jenkins.
I'm Chris Warner. So another nice, mild, muggy morning out there for us.
Yes,
and because of that, we are getting some additional shower and even some thunderstorm development right along the I-49 corridor. Take a look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker. These have actually developed here within the last, say, 20 or 30 minutes. And if this will allow me, I might be able to back it up just real quick and show you. Yeah. So here we go back to 5:30. And there we are at 6, and then you can see we have some additional development that's taking place across parts of the area right along that I-49 corridor. So we'll see what these showers do this morning. They're still expected to start to die out over the next hour or so, and that'll leave us with partly to mostly clear skies across the area. And then we'll see additional development this afternoon. So we head about 2, 3 o'clock, additional scattered showers and thunderstorms across the area, and these will continue through the evening and into the early evening, late evening hours, say right around 7, 8 o'clock. We're left with some dying showers across the area. Then we clear out, and then this will repeat again tomorrow. But tomorrow's scattered storms are going to be set off by yet another system. We're expecting some strong, possibly severe storms out across parts of Kansas. And as we head into Wednesday afternoon, the energy from that will make it down here and give us a few more scattered showers and thunderstorms as we go through tomorrow afternoon and once again into the evening hours before those die out. And we'll see additional ones by Thursday as well. MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline, cloudy, but otherwise good. Same from the KDOT camera at 69 and 400. And our camera at 7th and Rangeline showing some cloudy skies out there. 69 in Joplin right now. Temperatures across the area, not too bad. We've got 62 Chanute, 61 Parsons, 64 Miami, and 65 in Neosho. We get our morning started. Aside from those scattered showers out there now, we're partly cloudy to mostly clear, near 80 by late morning. And our highs today looking to push right around the lower to mid 80s, maybe even some upper 80-degree readings. And then by this afternoon, we'll start to see some of those scattered showers and thunderstorms again. Amber?
Thanks, Chris. A group of local CrossFit enthusiasts gathered together to run a race in honor of Memorial Day. KOAM Sagoon Bomadeli was there and has more.
Gym members at the Midwestern Built CrossFit Gym in Joplin gathered together to honor Memorial Day by taking on the Muff Challenge.
So it's a workout for Lieutenant Michael P. Murphy. We do it every year. It's kind of a CrossFit tradition, so just another year to knock it out.
The Muff Challenge consists of a series of exercises.
A 1 mile run, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 air squats, and another mile run. And if you do the real version, do it with a vest.
Although the workout is in Lieutenant Murphy's name, it is also for everyone who has paid the ultimate sacrifice.
It is a workout that I think is a tribute to his legacy, but personally I think this workout is something that we do for all those that did serve and gave the ultimate sacrifice.
Hunter says Memorial Day is important because it shows what selfless sacrifice means.
Realize sometimes what it takes to have such an awesome country, sacrifices made by men and women to have what we do have. As terrible as it is, they had to do what they had to do to make our life better.
Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
In Joplin, Shagbamdele, KOAM News.
Over 30 people participated in the challenge. On Monday, the GAR Cemetery in Miami honored fallen veterans with a Memorial Day ceremony. The ceremony included colors entrance march by local Marine Corps, a performance of the Pledge of Allegiance, and a flag ceremony. An opening and closing prayer was led by United States Navy veteran and the City of Miami employee, Kevin Koch. Pittsburgh State University also honored veterans with a Memorial Day program at the PSU Veterans Memorial. The program featured traditional elements of Memorial Day ceremonies, including a color guard comprised of cadets from the PSU's ROTC program, and playing of taps and singing of the national anthem by PSU music students.
I know two of these people, Rick Ramsey and John Kopfer, here on panel 40E. These are not names to me. These are friends.
The recording of the event can be viewed at any time on PSU's Veterans Memorial page. Pittsburgh State University's president, Dan Shipp, just returned to Gorilla Nation after biking around the state of Kansas. The purpose of the trip was to meet potential and future students and to earn money for those students. During the biking trip, PSU earned $7.6 million in pledges and met over 1,000 new friends.
We did it. Over 800 miles covered. We saw some amazing places, had the chance to meet some amazing people, connect with our alumni along the way.
You can read more about this story on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Missouri families who were promised emergency pandemic grocery funds last summer are still waiting, even as another summer is beginning. Pandemic EBT is a federal program administered by states. Last summer, it was designed to provide a one-time deposit of $391 per eligible child in grocery benefits to assist low-income families. The benefits, like a regular federal food stamps program, could be used like a debit card called electronic benefit transfer to purchase eligible food. Last week, the department issued a statement saying teams are in the final stages of testing data files so they can get the administrator the summer benefits. And this morning, we are discussing swimming lessons.
Yeah, some dogs can't get enough of the water, while others are scared to even put a paw in because, contrary to popular belief, not all dogs are good natural swimmers. While understanding water safety for humans is important, understanding it for your pets is also important.
All dogs can learn some tips and tricks to help them along. The first step, luring them into the water. Unlike humans, dogs don't have depth perception, so trying to get them in when they can't tell how deep the water is pretty scary for them.
And the next step is teaching them to go to the stairs and start learning to use their back feet. While it may sometimes take a few tries and a lot of patience, it's worth it if you even save just one life. And that brings us to our question for you this morning. Have you taken any swim lessons? So far, 70% of you say that you have not, 30% of you say that you have. So make sure you take time to vote through our website, through our app, and take part in the discussion on our Facebook page.
Nice. That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News, some startups want to make it a little easier to be green.
The convenience of takeout food can deliver a lot of plastic waste. I'm Bradley Blackburn with how reusable containers could make ordering in a little greener.
Plus, we've got some scattered showers, even a couple of thunderstorms out there this morning. We've got a few more on the way this afternoon. We'll take another look at that forecast. But first, here's another live look from Lakeside Park in Pittsburgh.
form of entertainment.
In Consumer Watch this morning, today Congress returns to Washington, and the first item on the agenda is passing a deal struck between the White House and House Republicans to raise the nation's borrowing limit. The agreement includes temporary work requirements for some social safety nets, like food stamps, and claws back some funding for the IRS and unspent COVID funds. A House vote is expected tomorrow. A French official is threatening to ban Twitter from the European Union after the social media giant pulled out of the EU's voluntary rules combating disinformation online. Other major tech companies pledged to follow the rules, with the EU's new regulations for governing digital media set to take effect in August. A European commissioner warned that the EU teams will be, quote, ready for enforcement. And The Little Mermaid swam her way to the top of the box office this Memorial Day weekend, reeling in nearly $96 million domestically Friday through Sunday. Disney live-action version of the beloved fairy tale displaced Fast X, which fell to number 2 spot, earning $23 million through Sunday. Automaker Ford is taking Tesla CEO Elon Musk up on his invitation. Last year, Musk urged electric vehicle makers to build cars using Tesla charging ports. And last week, Ford said they'll soon be doing that. In a Twitter live stream with the Tesla CEO on Thursday, Ford said their next generation of electronic vehicles would be made with Tesla-style charging ports. That's instead of what they are currently using, the CCS chargers used by most other electric vehicle makers. Now, for cars that do have CCS charging ports, Ford said drivers can use an adapter to access Tesla's 12,000 supercharger stations. Ordering takeout is an easy way to get dinner on the table, but that convenience comes with a lot of single-use plastic that can wind up in our landfills. Bradley Blackburn reports on a new startup trying to deliver food without the waste.
At the restaurant Raiz in New York City, the vegan Mexican food is cooked to order and packaged in a new, greener way. Diners can order takeout in containers that can be reused instead of being thrown away.
I love giving people the option.
Owner Nick Johnson partnered with a company called Deliver Zero, which works with 200 restaurants in New York and Colorado. All use the same system of containers.
If we can make reuse easier than recycling and more transparent, people will adopt the system.
CEO Lauren Sweeney says diners are charged $1 per order and can return containers to any Deliver Zero restaurant to be sanitized and reused.
If you create a channel for people to return stuff and keep it in circulation, they're really enthusiastic about it.
Other startups like Dispatch Goods and Bold Reuse are encouraging similar practices. A University of Michigan study found these kinds of containers need to be reused about a dozen times before they can make any kind of environmental impact.
We see them used at least hundreds of times. So they're designed for up to 1,000 uses, and we have a 98% return rate.
Customers have 3 weeks to return the containers or face a surcharge.
We have a dishwasher, so we can wash them here.
Johnson says the environmentally friendly option is also friendly for his bottom line. That's because Deliver Zero charges just a few cents per use, far less than having to buy new single-use packaging.
We would love if we only were using that for takeout.
Helping small businesses save some green while delivering something better for the planet. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Deliver Zero CEO says the containers will be available in certain Los Angeles and Toronto restaurants in September. That's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got a few scattered showers and even a couple of thunderstorms right along the I-49 corridor from our northern counties all the way back down to just east of Joplin. You can see they're lined up right along the Interstate 49 corridor. Now, these are expected to begin to die out, and some of them actually already are. Even the newer developments down to the south here in Barton and Jasper counties, they kind of fired up and then they're beginning to die down. And they should clear out later this morning, but that'll set the stage for some additional scattered shower and thunderstorm development later this afternoon. So we go to about 2, 3 o'clock. Here comes some additional scattered storms across the area, and these will go through the evening. Here we are at 6. Again, a few more scattered storms out there. And as we head into about 8, 9 o'clock, these showers begin to die out, and then we'll be Clear for the overnight with a few clouds out there, but this pattern will repeat again at most the same time tomorrow. By the time we hit 2, 3 o'clock, additional scattered shower and thunderstorm development across the area, and this will start to move off to the west. Here we are at 5, and then as the evening progresses, these will die out as well before the pattern repeats again for us on Thursday and for the next several days. We'll have more on your forecast a little later. We've also got our daily dose and celebration of birthdays and anniversaries after the break. But before we get to any of that, why don't we go check out what's happening on CBS Mornings.
I'm Tony Nicopol. Coming up on CBS Mornings, the Grammy-nominated pop duo Tegan and Sara will be with us to talk about their new novel. It blends fiction with their own real-life experiences in middle school. That's coming up on CBS Mornings.
All right, time for some Tuesday birthdays here in the 4 states, and we're going to start in Arma with Kaysen Neville celebrating birthday number 1. Happy birthday, Kaysen.
Layla Marie Joy Sturm is celebrating 3 years old. And a note from Happy Birthday, baby girl. Love mommy, Dax, and Nana.
And we've got Cecily Kennedy over in Goodman celebrating birthday number 13 on Sunday. Happy belated birthday. Welcome to the teen years.
Haley Henley is celebrating birthday 23 in Girard, Kansas. And by the way, she's the girl on the right.
And we've got Mackenzie Clark Gerber celebrating birthday number 26. And here she is with her husband and her baby. Happy birthday, Mackenzie.
And Pam Queen is turning 50 in Parson, Kansas. And this is from your bestie.
Also celebrating number 50 is Steve Couch over in Joplin. Happy birthday, Steve.
Craig Renee is celebrating in Kansas Columbus. And by the way, he's the dad of our technical media operator, Daniel Renee. So that's pretty cool at KOAM.
That is very cool, and Daniel is a great kid, and I think I understand why. We also have Brandy Turner celebrating a birthday, and this comes with wishes from her friends at Davis Real Estate, wishing you a happy birthday.
Kevin and Tiffany Yarnell is celebrating their 25th anniversary in Erie, Kansas.
And last but certainly not least, we've got Susan Payne celebrating birthday number 66 in El Dorado Springs. Happy birthday and anniversary to all of you. And of course, we do this every day. Amber, what do they need to do? Where do they need to send their birthdays and anniversaries so they can celebrate with us?
You can send them all to birthdays, which is plural, at KOAMnewsnow.com.
And of course, while you're on our website, make sure you take time to sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club. It is easy to do. You get great deals from local businesses. You also get a special birthday message from your friends here at KOAM, so make sure you sign up for that KOAM Birthday Club today. All right, so we kind of recapped our showers and thunderstorms for this afternoon. So again, by about 3, got some of those scattered storms out there. These will continue. Here we are at 6 o'clock this evening, a few more scattered storms. As we head later into the evening, they become some dying showers, and then they'll stop for the overnight. They will return tomorrow afternoon at almost the same time, roughly 2, 3 o'clock, additional scattered shower and thunderstorm development across the area. And this, again, will persist with us into the evening. By 5, starting to shift to the west into parts of southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma. Then those will die out as the evening progresses. And then we head into Thursday. Here we are at noon, a couple of scattered showers out there. By 1, we get a few more scattered showers and thunderstorms across the area, and they will hang out with us through the evening as well. MoDOT camera, 20th and Rangeline in Joplin, got some cloudy skies out there, and we've got the same cloudy skies from the KDOT camera at 69 and 400 just south of Pittsburgh. Our camera at 7th and Rangeline showing some clearing trying to take place out there in Joplin. Otherwise, 69, south breeze at 7 miles an hour. Temperatures around the region not too bad out there. One thing I wanted to I've been pointing out is Nevada. I just remember, it was 55 this time yesterday morning, now up to 65 this morning. 66 in Pittsburgh, 61 Neodesha, Sedan, Independence, and Parsons, 65 Chautauqua, 64 in Miami, and 65 in Neosho. As we get our morning started, we've got a few scattered showers and thunderstorms right along the I-49 corridor. Those will begin to die out. The rest of us will be with mostly clear to partly cloudy skies through the morning hours, and we'll be pushing once again near 80 by late morning. We'll have another look at the rest of the day's forecast and the week ahead here in just a moment. And coming up, when the KOAM Morning News transitions over to Fox 14, we're taking you to the theater for a special production that uses World War II era love letters as its inspiration. For this particular theater in Crystal Falls, Michigan, the occasion felt even more poignant as it was the first production in over a decade. It's a history lesson meeting human drama when the KOAM Morning News hits the stage on Fox 14 at 7 a.m.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A Pittsburgh woman is sentenced for a murder that happened last year. Authorities say Verla Gilland shot and killed Harold Sheets of Pittsburgh after an argument. She recently pleaded guilty to voluntary manslaughter and aggravated burglary. She is sentenced to 6 years in prison. On Monday, the GAR Cemetery in Miami honored fallen veterans with a Memorial Day ceremony. The ceremony included the Colors Entrance March by the local Marine Corps, a performance of the Pledge of Allegiance, and a flag ceremony. An opening and closing prayer was led by the United States Navy veteran and City of Miami employee Kevin Koch. Pittsburgh State University also honored veterans with a memorial program at PSU's Veterans Memorial. The program featured traditional elements of Memorial Day ceremonies, including a color guard compromise of cadets from the PSU's ROTC program and playing of taps and singing the national anthem by PSU music students. And Pittsburgh State University's president, Dan Shipp, just returned to Gorilla Nation after biking around the state of Kansas. The purpose of the trip was to meet potential and future students and earn some money for those students. During the biking trip, PSU earned $7.6 million in pledges and met over 1,000 new friends. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out that door.
We've got those scattered showers right along the I-49 corridor this morning. Those will begin to die out, and we'll be left with partly cloudy skies heading into the afternoon. Then some of us will start to see some scattered pop-up thunderstorms this afternoon into the evening. Highs today, low to mid-80s, maybe a couple of upper 80-degree readings. We'll start to see those storms and showers clear out. We'll be partly to mostly cloudy overnight, dropping back into the lower 60s. And this pattern repeats for the next several days. Pop-up afternoon thunderstorms all the way through Monday, maybe near 90 by Thursday. Otherwise, highs pushing the mid to upper 80s across the area.
Coming up today at noon, we're making perfect portobello pizza in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. A CBS News investigation finds veterans are struggling to clear their record more than a decade after the military lifted its ban on gay and lesbian service members. That's coming up on CBS Mornings.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, Charlene Patton from the Kansas Soybean Commission stops by the studio to make a summertime favorite, red potato salad.
And we've got a lot more coming up on the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 at 7 a.m., so make sure you switch on over with us. That's going to wrap it up for us for here, though. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.